Hello there folks and welcome to part 7 of our MotoGP 19 career mode. It doesn't really seem like a week since the game come out. Crazy stuff really, but hello and welcome to part 7, and today we go to Italy and then we go to Catalonia officially. Not necessarily Spain, but let's not get caught up in anything political. We're going for the Gran Premio di Catalunya in the middle of June. But before that, of course, we've got to go to Mugello. Now, in between races, we do have a transfer window where potentially we could maybe move to a quicker Moto 3 team. And who knows, maybe a Moto 2 team might be interested in our services. But just to remind you what's happened so far in the last 2 races. Now, at the Spanish Grand Prix, well, we'll go to the Spanish Grand Prix first. Yes, we were battling fairly decently with Buvaimos and Garcia. But to be honest, we didn't really have the pace on them. I know it says we had the fastest lap, but admittedly, they were quicker than us. We just couldn't quite get the cutting edge. We probably needed 1 or 2 attempts to beat them. Obviously, we're already 3 attempts behind us. That, of course, is the case. But we wanted just a little bit more of a cutting edge, which meant that he won the race. And then in Le Mans, it was, well, gutting to be quite honest. Garcia won it by just under a smidgen of a tenth a second. We were ahead for the full race, and Garcia was down in 6th or 7th, but had a massive, really a brilliant comeback come the end of the race. And with 2 corners to go, we went up the inside, and we thought it's fine, we've covered him, but he just went, he left us, and he then won the race despite us leading the whole way through. So this leaves the championship going to that Italian weekend looking like this, with 16 points between the top 3. It's an almighty close championship, and the problem is for us being in 3rd, is that if Buvaimos and Garcia finish 2nd or 3rd, or in the top 3, then that's not really going to give us much chance of gaining many points in them, particularly with a topsy-turvy season. So we've got to go and win, probably in Italy, and then make sure that those guys finish well behind us. But of course, it's a long season. There's plenty of time left in the season. Let's just focus race by race and doing as well as possible, and that can start here with the first race of the episode in Mugello. Well, I don't usually report from Q1 because it's fairly easy for us to get through, but with a minute and a half to go, we're in quite a nasty predicament. I'm not quite sure why, and I don't understand it, because this is our 2nd lap, and we are quite a way off the laps that Sasaki has set at a 2:03 dead. Now, we've done 2 laps, as I'm saying, so we've only got time for another 1, and this lap isn't going to even be a personal best. It is just, in fact, a personal best by literally just, and we need to be in the top 4 to go through to the next session. If we don't get through to the next session, we know, and it's been proven in light race in the Rookies Cup where we started at the back, that qualifying is absolutely everything. So this lap's going to have to be mega just to get through in the top 4, never mind at the top. That's not a bad start, is it, blimey? When we want to bring the bike up to real pace, we're half a second quicker in Sector 1, but is that maybe a little bit of false hope? We might well lose that throughout the rest of the lap, but I hope not. Well, that 4 attempts has dwindled throughout the lap, as you can see now. We are still quickest, but by 6/100ths of a second. It's going to be tight. Really, it only comes down to this corner and how quickly we can get out of the corner and then onto the straight. But it's going to be tight. Hopefully, the top 4 are quite spread out, because Italy gives us a few attempts if we don't quite get the time. But are we going to get through? Is it going to be enough to get through to Q2? All we need now is a bit of pace. Let's see what it does. Are we going to do it? Yes, we do. Quite easily in the end by 6/10ths of a second. But, you know, we were there. We were in 6th place beforehand, and we needed a 3/10th improvement just to get through in 4th. And admittedly, that's a little bit unnerving for Q2. Blimey, the bar has been set very high already in this session. That's just by Binder now. We've just gone past Garcia, as you've seen, and just gone past Buvaimos. So they haven't set their lap times yet. They haven't come out the pits. But with 6 minutes to go, they're only going to get 2 laps maximum. So that might come to harm them a little bit, but Binder with a 2:01.9. We needed something mega to get through the last session, and of course that's 5/10ths shy of what we need to go de facto pole position for the moment. So we're going to have to push here to get anywhere near that time. Well, our bank lap certainly isn't half bad. It's approaching about what we were in the first session in terms of our fastest lap. But I suppose if we showed sort of a second improvement from our first to last lap in the last session, that sort of delta might well give us pole here. So we're going to have to focus. We've got 2 laps to do it. Let's see what we can do. Now, this lap should show some improvement, but the man behind us is Garcia, who's fell away a little bit actually over the lap, which is interesting to see. But I wonder whether he's going to beat our time that we're going to set now. It's a 2:01.7, but Garcia takes that pole. We had it for what? A second and a half, and Garcia raised the bar by a further 2/10ths. And Buvaimos, Jesus Christ. we've got 2 laps if we need it. His lap time seems so unachievable, but then so did that time of Binder. We beat that by a 1/10.5. The question is, are these other 2 going to improve to heights that we simply cannot get to? Well, we tried and we tried, but the top 3, in fact the top 4, is championship order for the Grand Prix of Italy. Very exciting times though. I mean, if we can get past Amos and Garcia, it's not inconceivable that we can win this race. I'll let you listen to Keith.
To start. The weather is great and the temperature is perfect for racing, so we're just waiting to find out which riders have opted for hard tyres and which have opted for soft.
It's all about Keith, isn't it, at the start of the race? But as I was saying, it's a very warm day here at Mugello. If we can get ahead at the start, we're starting 3rd. It's not the worst place to start in the world. I think that will give us the inside line, I think, actually, that 3rd place will. So, not the worst thing in the world. There's our pole sitter, Amos. And there is our 2nd place man, Sergio Garcia. So, yes, 3rd place will lead... Oh, no, yeah! No, it's on the outside, which is a little bit unfortunate, but oh well. So, it's a pretty well split first row, I'd argue. We've got Amos on a 201 dead, Garcia on a 201.5, and ourselves on a 201.7. So, you could say that this race, based on qualifying, is all over. But it's never as easy as that. The front 3, the championship rivals, once again, will face off. For the 6th race of the season, the lights are on. And we are away for the Italian Grand Prix. Of course, us with our automatic starts get a much better start, really, than Amos and Garcia. We did have a little bit of a lock into the tyres there. Just felt they weren't too... well, they're a little bit reluctant to go. But we have got the lead into the first corner. I've been saying for a few episodes now that maybe we ought to start incorporating manual starts. But for now, we do have the lead. And it was a good start from us. And, you know, we'll take that advantage while we've got it. We might well turn manual starts on for the next race, but on this occasion we take the lead for now. Oh, hey up, here comes Amos for his first move of the day. We're going to block that one off, quite late braking, and we of course do like to brake early in the AI, but that might not come to much of an advantage at this corner. I think he might well go for it again. No, he hasn't on that occasion. We covered the inside quite well, but he's gone for the outside line that time, and interestingly, and he did get the overtake for a smidgen of a second there, but we kept him off. And it is going to be the start-finish straight that ultimately is going to be very interesting, because Slipstream could absolutely whoop us here. It could be a big factor. But he might well go for the inside line at this corner. Oh, he has. Trying to push us out, the cheeky swine. And we'll let him have it for now, because Slipstream is a big thing on this front straight. As you can see, we've got the lead back already. Wow. There's got to have been a 4 or 5 changes in the lead in that exchange there. But Amos might well get the Slipstream coming into this first corner. To be fair, he's not gaining that much yet, but he might break a lot later than we are. We've set the fastest lap, of course, of the race. Garcia down in 4th place, and Binder, I think, in 6th. So that's a little bit of a welcome surprise. And if they're finished there, that'd certainly be nice. But Amos going up the inside, trying to give us a little bit of a tap on the ridge to remind us he's there. And that's a bit more of a tap on the rear. More a case for us closing the door there. But goodness me, this is an exciting battle, and one I don't think it's going to end for any time soon, because any tight corner is just showing on the rear of our camera, just to remind us that we're there. Well, that he's there. Well, but technically we're there as well. See, I can botch commentary issues and make them look like it's just natural. Oh, he's got up the inside again. Right, probably too early there. And there's Garcia in the background. Let's make sure he doesn't run away. But let's focus. Garcia could be going on the assault as well. But Slipstream is key down this straight. Didn't really seem like Amos got much last time round, but let's see if we can benefit from the Slipstream. Now, Amos in the lead, and we'll cross the line for the first time in this race as the lead, but as you can see, the Slipstream is incredible. Round the outside we go. He might go for a move at the first corner. Let's see. Let's just focus on our own braking. Whoa, round the outside. No way has he cut that back in. Wow, I'm surprised he's made that corner. Really am surprised that he's made that, even though his brake's so much later. That probably suggests that there is potential for later braking there, but let's just focus. We did this in the first race at Qatar. Amos got ahead and we started being aggressive, and that's why we fell off, and that was a reason, probably finishing an 8th that race, that we have lost a bit of ground in the title fight. So we don't want to risk that again, although I do believe, just to make you all a bit miserable, that I don't think in this next part of the track that we can pull too close to Amos in order to make a move. And that's a penalty. Great. Yeah, just trying to be too aggressive. Let's just focus on our own ride. We might have to settle for second. Unfortunately now, I think however hard we try, Bouvet-Moss is going to take first unless he comes off the bike or some ridiculous circumstances occur. What we've got to be careful of now is with this silly penalty we got for a bit of a corner cut is that Garcia doesn't catch up by another 2 tenths and we lose second as well. It is a real topsy-turvy title race this is. The last race Garcia won, of course, we finished second and Bouvet-Moss was third. Oh yeah, by the way, we did cut that same corner again. We've lost a little bit more time in penalties, so we've got to be ultra careful now. In that last race we finished second between the two. In Jerez we finished third. In US we won the race. In the second race in Argentina we finished second to Bouvet-Moss. And in the first race, of course, we were, 8th? So it's a real topsy-turvy championship. I think that Le Mans was actually Garcia's first win. Surely, I think, because Bouvet-Moss won the 4th race. We won the 3rd. I think Bouvet-Moss won both the 1st and the 2nd. So it's going to be Bouvet-Moss's 4th win out of 6. I think that we are safe for 2nd place. Bouvet-Moss definitely the quickest man on the day. Fair play to him. But we are going to take 2nd place. And I think, 1 place improved. We've made ground on Garcia, which is fair enough. As you can see, Bouvet-Moss way ahead of anybody else on lap time. And how does that look for the championship now? We are getting closer to Sergio Garcia. Only 4 points to the deficit now, but unfortunately, Bouvet-Moss starts to pull away. And it's only going to be a few races before it takes a DNF from Bouvet-Moss to really put us back in the championship fight. But we're going to fight for it. And next, where are we at next? Where are we going next? I'm going to consult the calendar. Mugello, MotoGP, and it is Catalonia next, of course, the Spanish Grand Prix, or the Catalan Grand Prix, but let's not get into the politics once again. So, I'll see you at Garcia's home race. So we've got the transfer window here, so a few Moto3 teams asking for our services. Green Power that Bouvet-Moss is at, but really, the performance is similar to us. We've got 2 Honda teams, and we've got Besta Capital Dubai now. Any sort of advantage we can get, we're going to take. And as you can see, Dubai and Honda Team Asia are better performance than what we've got already. So we're going to sign for Honda. We're going to sign for Honda Team Asia. And we're going to be on a new bike. Alongside Kaito Toba and Ai Agura. That's going to be a fun teammate to try and pronounce. But we are now on a Honda rather than a KTM. So we're on different machinery to Bouvet-Moss. Let's see how that makes a difference. But while I remember, when we go on to manual start management, we'll turn that on and see if that makes a difference. But it's next up for the Catalonia Grand Prix. New bike, and I'd say a bit of a performance improvement. I'm quite enjoying riding this bike. Just a little bit of oomph down the straights is what we might need to take the battle to Garcia and Bouvet-Moss. Now, we've qualified from Q1, funnily enough, with our banker lap, our first lap with a 56.2. We did set 2 laps after that, and actually couldn't beat that 56.2, so a little bit worrying for track evolution, but let's see how we get on in Q2, and more importantly, what the top dogs can bring to the table. Now, our bank lap here was a 1:56.6. That's been beaten by several people. As you can see, we're in 5th place. I don't have to tell you, the 2 big boys haven't set their lap time yet. It's a little bit similar to the pace at Mugello. We've got it, well, Jesus Christ, Bouvet-Moss. A 54.6. Oh, God. Over a second over that. And I am starting to think that this guy might well be unbeatable. Well, I thought that Bouvet-Moss might be unbeatable, but look who's just gone and beat him. Garcia. Oh dear, we might well be losing ground to both of them. Of course, it's Garcia's home race, maybe a little bit of clout for him in terms of that. But we're 1.3 seconds off with 2 laps maximum left. Can we really pull that sort of gap back? That's going to be pretty tricky. Oh, that's why. You don't push too hard. That's our first crash on our new Honda. And I think the game is up. I really do think the game is up in this war of qualifying between ourselves, Garcia and Bouvet-Moss. But just to avoid embarrassment, we're in 6th place at the moment. We need to get a decent lap on the board, or else we're going to be starting way below where we're expected to be.
In tomorrow's Grand Prix.
Well, for the first time in the season, Darren Binder's got on the front row. It's not going to be us. And we're barely on the 2nd row. Oh dear.
Welcome to the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. We'll be bringing you live coverage of the Moto3 race in just a few minutes. As you can see, at the moment the sky is covered with a thick layer of clouds, but nevertheless, the latest weather reports have assured everybody that it isn't going to rain.
Yeah, it's cloudy. It's not going to rain, so that's buggered up our strategy of trying to get to the front. But let's see how we get on. We've got manual starts on. That's only going to increase the pressure and difficulty. But let's see how we get on, shall we? Here we go. Oh, the pressure is definitely on here. We led most of the last race. I don't think we're going to see anywhere near the lead in this one. There's Garcia on pole, looking all smug. It's not Boo Vamos for once. I suppose if Garcia takes points off Boo Vamos... well, no situation's good for us. We need to start beating these two. But here we go. It's unfamiliar territory. 6th place on the grid. A little bit further back from where we expect. Can we improve on this position? If not, it could be catastrophic for our title bid. Right, we need to hold the clutch in. With A. And then go. So we are off for this race in Moto3. Not the best start from us whatsoever. As you can see, quite a poor start actually with clutch control on. And, well, we have been absolutely bombed at the start. Look at that. Wow. Goodness me. We really need to start doing something in the first corner. And look at them all gaggled together. We're going to try and get some space where possible. Vietti's just crashed. Goodness knows we're easy on the grid. But there's a real clash of riders. Oh, that's a bike we don't want to hit. That's Antonelli. Just trying to get any move done where we can. And just staying on the power is going to be crucial. And to be fair, we've done very well at that corner to regain positions. Now we're going to try and go up the inside of inside of Canet. Or Canet. And unfortunately that hasn't quite worked. But rather than be the defensive, we need to be the aggressor. Luckily the guys at the front are battling, so that could be our way to get back to the front. But we have hit Canet. Not really the way we wanted to go, but luckily we haven't caused any of us too much peril. But Canet's coming back at us. So heartbreaking when we can see the lead just up ahead. Feels a little bit, not necessarily damp this track, but there is potential for a bit of rain. Potentially if it was a longer race, but it's not going to be massive enough, the potential in a 5-lap race. Is that Boo Vamos pulling away? It's a green bike and he's on the green power bike, so you would suggest so. Now, tight corners are usually somewhere where we can gain positions, but we have fell off here once already this weekend, so we're very reluctant to make any sort of move. Stay on the outside, it's not the best line, in fact, though, is it? We didn't really want to copy anyone else, because when we do, we don't pull it off very well. But it has to be said, we're not that far off the top 6, but it's a little bit like at that race in Jerez. We're just missing that cutting edge. This will be our poorest finish since Qatar, but as you can see, the other bike's just pulling away. It's heartbreaking to watch. We just haven't got the pace here, obviously. It's going to be a bitter pill to swallow on the first race on a Honda. We're a whole 3 seconds off the pace of Garcia. There's something not right, but I don't think it's the bike. I wouldn't worry. It's not like we've made a terrible decision to come to the Honda team. I just think we are way off the pace this weekend, which is uncomfortable. Because if this is the norm, or becomes the norm, then it becomes very worrying coming into the mid part of the season. But after this race, Garcia is going to be more than a race ahead in terms of points. So is Boo Vamos. And it starts to look worrying unless we have a very good season after this race. We can't have any more mistakes, and that's worrying. I sarcastically said at the start, was it sarcastic or not? Debate that between yourselves. That we wouldn't really see the lead this race. Well, that's been absolutely true. Been way off the pace, the leaders. Like in America, we were way quicker than anybody else. They're far quicker than us here. So it's a bitter pill to swallow. And it really will be for our championship hopes. But we're coming around the last few corners. Luckily, we've had no attempts at attack by Tober or Della Porta in 8th and 9th behind us. But as we come around the final corner, it's Sergio Garcia who picks up his second win of the season. I presume Boo Vamos in second. So that lessens the damage to some extent, but not massively. And coming across the line, we finish in 7th. So as you can see, we were absolutely way off the pace. We were more with those guys behind that you can see there. Question is, how does that affect the championship? Wow, that is a big gap. Even a big gap to Garcia now. Luckily, we've got a good gap to Binder and Masia behind us. But goodness me, it's going to be tough to fight for the championship now. It really is. Well, that was a good episode. I really enjoyed that, but didn't necessarily enjoy that race as much. But you are going to get races like that sometimes where you can't really win. For the first time in a few, we're not on the podium. We were in Le Mans, of course, we were in Mugello, and we were in Jerez. In fact, it's our first race without a podium, I think, since Argentina. I think we got on the podium in Argentina as well. Yeah. So possibly our first race without a podium since the first one in Qatar. And as I say, our worst result since that 8th place in Qatar. But nonetheless, it was a weekend. It was a good weekend. As you can see, that's the championship as it stands now. So next, on tomorrow's episode, we go to Assen and then to Sachsenring. That marks the midway point of the Moto3 season. There are 19 rounds, so I guess 9 is the middle of the season. But of course, it's the season. It's the mid-season break after the Deutschland Grand Prix. And then we go to Czech, Austria, Britain, etc., etc., going to the end of the season. But I hope you guys have enjoyed. I certainly have. If you have, make sure to leave a like down below, comment and subscribe as well for daily MotoGP content. Click on any of the elements of the end screen to maintain and keep your journey going at CIJ. Going to either watch the next episode of the career mode or some historical challenges or even another video on the channel that might interest you. But until I see you again, thank you very much for watching and I will see you guys the next time. Goodbye for now.